Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a best of 7 between two players we haven't seen in a very, very long time. Bottom left, spawning as our red Terran player, it is INnoVation, the machine. And in the top right here as our teal-ish Protoss player, it is sOs, Mr. Money himself, La Cucaracha. The man, the myth, the legend. A best of 7 between these two. It's INnoVation playing on a barcode account, as we have always been used to from INnoVation, honestly. This is the Inno standard. Both of these players have been in the army for, I want to say, a year and 9 months each. Time flew by, or at least for me it flew by. And for them, I guess it felt very slow. But now they're back, and we see sOs immediately with his old school shenanigans. Seems to be going for, I think, a proxy Stargate into a gold base here. So, you know, some people say that a man can change very quickly. You know, like within a year or within even a couple of weeks, you can have a complete change of personality. But sOs had a completely different lifestyle for very close to 2 years. And he comes back, and the first game I see of him, he proxies I think it's a Stargate. It could also be a robotics facility, but this has massive Stargate vibes, honestly. And I think it's also going to be a Nexus here at that gold base. No scout coming out of INnoVation. INnoVation opening up with a double gas opener. Pulls out of gas here with some of these workers. And we'll follow it up with a command center. Single Reaper into a reactor. That means that we'll see the high ground command center over here, most likely. Of course, that depends on whether INnoVation actually is aware of the current meta game and the current rules of StarCraft 2 in the Terran versus Protoss matchup. He seems to be okay. He seems to know what's up. Here indeed comes that Nexus at the gold base. It's sOs making a nice little show of it. I love this stuff. Okay. INnoVation immediately sees the lack of a Nexus here. And his mind should start, you know, going through the motions. Like, okay, what could it be? I see double gas, quite a little bit of gas mining going on as well. Tries to get a probe, will not quite get it. And that will not get this Reaper either, unless Inno really messes it up, but he won't. Oracle is on the way. First unit's going to be a mine. Follow-up should be a tech lab here. Yes, this is the theoretically perfect response. Now, you should be fine with just the 4 Marines, but the mine is, of course, a nice little add-on here. It allows you to either control your ramp or to randomly go for a position nearby in your main base where you perhaps can snipe an Oracle. That would be fantastic, of course, for a star. So this Oracle is going to get spotted here by this Reaper, and well, the Reaper also gets spotted by the Oracle, so you know, it's vice versa. Oh, here goes the Oracle, jumps in for one SCV, gets that first SCV for free. There's a little bit of damage on those Marines as second SCV does not quite die. The Oracle takes a decent chunk of hull damage here. And now we have, look at that, 6 Marine, 1 mine as a move out. And the first Cyclone is at home. No Viking as a follow-up yet, but it's of course still a real possibility. I think that's what we're going to see here. He had that starport selected for a little bit. He definitely wants that Viking. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, not a Viking, it's a Liberator. No, it's a tech lab. INnoVation not quite sure what he wants either, as this drop could potentially be quite harmful here. Now there are 3 gateways done, there is Blink on the way, but is there enough money for sOs to get that full warp in at home? We just warped 3 Stalkers in across the map, and is there a recall available? There is a no. He already recalled something. I don't know what he recalled, but recall is not available currently. We see a quick pull away here with those probes. Mine is going to burrow, and this is extremely painful, even if you don't kill 10 workers. Just forcing these probes to move away and not mine is painful by itself already. Good control out of INnoVation. Of course, sOs is doing a fine job defending this. Loses 3 workers and loses a crap ton of mining time here. On top of that, also gets everything scouted that he was doing. That can be a real issue. Just knowing that there's a Twilight Council and Blink on the way, most likely. I mean, you see the Stalker warp-ins. Ooh, it's going to be another gold base. sOs is back, and he's showing us how it's done. Double golds. We have a push out here coming out of INnoVation. Not so sure if it's going to be capable of killing this. There's 6 Stalkers out already. sOs is going to spot this. Should not lose that Oracle. It's kind of important. It's just barely going to keep it alive here at 6 HP remaining. Raven makes his way across the map. He's going to throw down an auto turret to harass this base. At the same time, we have this army now getting in position, takes a high ground, single tank there as well as a mine. No, doesn't go for the high ground, goes behind that gold-based mineral. So the least you're going to do here is deny a lot of mining time. Take out that battery as well, of course. We have a base rate move coming in here out of SOS. There's not a... Well, there is a tank at home, but not in position in the main base. There we go. Blinks in. That's what, 9 Stalkers? Does seem to be the case. Maybe even 10. God, counting is difficult. That's 9 Stalkers. A couple of these SCVs will go down. This base is going to not be toast because, let's face it, you can't kill this Nexus quick enough. And now INnoVation actually feels the need to go back home. It's like, wait a second, I can't deal a lot of damage here. The probes are just being sent over to the other gold base. So yeah, even if you kill the Nexus, you're losing a lot of workers here at home. Oh no, Oracle's already working on that second tank as well. Tank goes down. Cyclone on the way out as well. I can only imagine here. Yep, there we go. 11, 12, 13 workers going down as they die at a rapid pace over here. Oracle remains alive for now as 18 SCVs have fallen. Tank still going ham on this on this Nexus. I wonder if it's actually gonna get this Nexus. I think it will. There's what, 3 more shots? Uh-oh. 1, 2, and boom. Yeah. Nexus goes down. INnoVation will lose his tank and the mine, but gets 1 more Stalker. And we're now in a very weird situation. There's no real upgrades yet for INnoVation here. It doesn't even have Stim finished yet. It's just now starting. At the same time, what do we have on the side of SOS? Okay, 3 more gates on the way. He's stuck on 2 bases. He has a 3rd on the way. It's going to be on that gold base once more. That means that he will need to play for map control. The moment SOS loses map control, he loses the game because he can't defend both bases easily. It's like you either defend the right side or you defend the left side. You can't defend both at the same time. So if you don't have map control in a situation like this, you've lost the game. It's actually over. Even if it's just a drop just manages to sneak by and kill 7, 8, 9 workers, that's probably game-losing damage as well at this point. So there's a lot of things that could be happening here that would be really bad for SOS. And I think it's important for him at this moment to get vision all around the base of INnoVation, make sure that drops can't move out. With just a single Oracle and a single Revelation every, 30 seconds or so, I don't think it's going to be good enough. Another Marine does get sniped here. There's 1 tank in position in the natural. Stim still not done. It's important that that Stim finishes, by the way. Oh, Oracle's gonna go in for a little bit of a scout. Wants to know if there's a perhaps a third CC or maybe 4th and 5th barracks. I'm not so sure what his plans are actually. 8 gates for SOS. Dark Shrine as well as a follow-up. Could actually have some potential here. Is that Raven still alive? I remember there being a Raven at some point. I must have died somewhere, some way in all the action. I didn't quite see that. Income 2400 minerals a minute against 1900. Supply pretty much in favor of SOS at this point, which is not a good thing if you're a Terran player. But this army is very Marine heavy, which means that the damage output of this army is actually rather large. And as long as there's no splash to deal with high Marine counts, Marines are actually fantastic to have in an army. Absolutely fabulous. So we have mines coming out, and here comes that drop I was talking about. Now, we do have a single pylon on the bottom side, and it's most likely going to spot it. Let's take a look at the first person here out of SOS. Is he going to notice it? So far, the mini-map, yes, there we go. Should see it right down the mini-map. Yeah, moves his camera over there, warps in 5 Stalkers, and that means that this is going to be a dangerous situation here for INnoVation. Uh-oh. There we go. 5 Stalkers blink over the mineral line. Start looking for something. A medevac. And here we go. Snipes a single Marine and runs away. Uh-oh, there goes that medevac. Medevac goes down. A little bit naive out of INnoVation. I mean, Inno did spot that pylon, should have known that he has been seen as well. It's not like he boosted through it. He flew at a regular pace through that pylon vision. I don't think you can expect to win in this case. We have DT Blink on the way as well. The Shadow Stride coming out for a good friend SOS, who's throwing down a second Forge on top of that as well. So it's really kind of setting up for a mid-game, but I don't think INnoVation here is planning on playing much of a mid-game. It wouldn't even surprise me if he pulls the boys here, because he doesn't really have all that much as a follow-up. There's a lot of cash in the bank right now for SOS. Does not quite have the gateway count, I guess, to spend all of that. Maybe if you have double gold, you do need to go up to 10, 12-ish gates, but instead we see that focus on the forges here. Somewhat understandable. Of course, you do want some upgrades. I'm surprised you're not seeing an SCV pool here, by the way. This is... You need to get something going here, you know? Just perhaps what he could be doing here is just maxing out bio, the higher the supply, starts trading really well against pure charge lot, of course. That's it's an absolute fact here. Uh-oh, is there a scan available? Yes, there's one scan available. Does INnoVation see this? He sees it too late. The DTs get the split up. Do we get a blink out? Do we get a blink out? Yes, we get a blink out of the scan range as well. Main base in a world of trouble. sOs is going to give this base up right now, moves in, and is going to go for a snipe on this command center. That means that DTs could potentially be winning the game here, as both of these CCs are under some heavy fire right now. Turret needs to be targeted down as well. There we go. Does get taken out as the DT in the natural is dealing a lot of damage. CC gets blasted over here, and INnoVation is completely dead at this point. He had a scary army, but it won't even matter because he cannot see what's hitting him anymore. It is not possible. Raven is on the way, and I do appreciate that to a certain extent, but also we need to face reality here, INnoVation. You have nothing, absolutely nothing right now to deal with these DTs. INnoVation has not rebuilt their base and is being revealed, and yeah, this Raven's going to be out in 14 seconds from now, but by that time I think another 5-6 supply will go down. Blink still available, of course, here as well. I think sOs is aware of what's going to be popping out of that starport. I mean, why in the world would INnoVation not leave yet? He's going to lose these DTs, but I mean, is it really all bad? I think this is such a great fight here. Such a great little move out of sOs as well. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Once again, retaking that gold base. What's left? There's like 6 Marauders and 5 mines. 6 mines, 6 Marauders, 3 Marines. There's 33 Zealots out right now. We have the ability to snipe that Raven, perhaps, just with the Stalkers. Blink in, kill the Raven, game ends. Second Raven is on the way. Maybe it's not the ideal play. Maybe you just want to play it safe here, and that's indeed what sOs is going for. He's going for that base trade. Wants to get... Oh my god, gets the second Raven here. That is just beautiful. That is fantastic stuff. Maybe he wants to get the starport to burn as well. That would really add insult to injury here. I think INnoVation needs to leave. He's down so far in army supply. 70 army supply down. Upgrades are pretty much even. And there's just not enough units. I'm surprised that sOs is keeping his opponent in the game for this long. Yep, goes for the snipe on that Raven and says, adios, my dear friend. But now you should truly know that this game has ended. There's not enough money for a new Raven. There's no way to get any cash here for Inno. Hey, this is game. It's game. He knows, I know. I don't quite understand what INnoVation is still doing in this game. GG gets called. sOs wins the first one here in this best of 7. Game number 2 here on Neo Humanity, one of the maps that we don't really see in this matchup, as it's well, not a great match, or not a great map for Terran, honestly. A lot of it has to do with this Reaper. I love the way that sOs is walling this off. Look at that. Gateway near his main base. Cybernetics core for the full wall. Chef's kiss. That is exactly what you want here. This is the ideal situation. Because that means if there's, you know, a Reaper coming in, your gateway still is close to that ramp. You can also build a tech here, by the way. It really doesn't matter that much, but... Oh, wait a second. This went down at 114. That means this was a 12 pylon then. Yeah, 12 pylon, 13 gate. So the standard opener, for the people that are not aware, for Protoss is a 14 pylon, 16 gate, or 14 pylon, 15 gate. But this is different. This is a build order that has a way quicker first unit here, coming out of that gateway. A solid 10 seconds faster. So the usual timing for a cybernetics core to finish is at the 2-minute mark. This one finishes at 1:49 exactly. That means he can chrono out this adept. Probably gonna follow this up with a second gas and then the warp gate as well. Yeah, I really like how this build order flows. INnoVation, a player that is not too keen on scouting, might actually get bit in the bum a little bit by this. I mean, this is not really scouting, right? When I'm talking about scouting, I'm talking SCV scouting specifically. And instead he's opting for a factory before reactor. That means that his marine count is going to be very low here as well. He's going to get a quick Hellion as a result, but an entire marine cycle is delayed. So that is a big deal, because this adept is going to start getting to work here on this command center, which is nowhere near close being done. Oh, you're in a world of trouble here, Look at that. That's another 10 seconds or so that this thing needs to finish. Just now these Marines are starting. We have a mine on the way, which does sound nice, but doesn't actually do all that much. Marine comes back home. It's going to get blasted for free here. So that's really double pain here for INnoVation. He's in trouble. INnoVation is simply just in trouble. We already have a Twilight Council behind this second gate coming up as well here for SOS. What else does he want to do? Is he going into Blink? Does he want to get a Dark Shrine? What are the plans here, my friend? Third gate coming in. This feels a lot like it's going to be a Blink follow-up in my mind. I don't think this can be anything else. And the problem for the Marine count is that until you get 7 Marines here, I don't think you can actually contest this, which means, well, it means that life sucks. That's what it means, really. Don't think you want to finish this with the... No, do you? Okay. Finishes this. I feel like this poses a risk of being kind of locked into your opponent's main base. He's dealing a fair amount of damage now, though. But yeah, not a huge fan of this. I think just staying down here probably has more value. You do get a nice little scout, saw the mine. Might even have seen that medevac over there. Oh. Depot raising comes in time. As the Gateway 2 and 3 now have finished, worker production has been fairly mediocre out of SOS during all of this. If you deal this much damage and you delay your opponent's CC for this long, I don't think you should be up only 5 workers. So something went wrong there. What went wrong, I don't entirely know, but I think it has something to do with a complete lack of worker production. It's kind of bad here out of SOS. On the other hand, this third base is starting as his opponent's natural is finishing, so that is kind of good for SOS. This is a double mine drop. Blink, of course, not done yet, but for some reason, INnoVation didn't quite believe it. Okay, he's going back in right now. He's going to drop 1 mine here. We'll get the burrow off, I hope. Yep, there we go. Nice retargeting out of Inno. Actually, scratch that. Should have continued retargeting there for a little while. Not a lot going on in this game, and there were 3 probes around. A very sloppy defense out of SOS, honestly, but manages to get away with it, and that's the thing that matters. Only loses 2 workers and doesn't lose a whole lot of mining time due to that failed retargeting exercise there out of INnoVation. No third barracks on the way yet. Hell, no second barracks on the way yet either. No eBay on the way. INnoVation is in a world of trouble and will need to move out soon to try and kill his opponent. The problem is that right now, it's actually SOS who's doing a lot of the killing. Takes out 2 SCVs, takes out a couple of these Marines as well. Will try to target down this bunker. Is going to force a cancel on it as the Raven makes its way in towards the natural. That is an interesting blink in. Does get the tank. Was that good? Loses 2 Stalkers. Is going to lose a 3rd Stalker for sure. As the tank spawns on the high ground as well. Ends up losing 4 Stalkers for a tank and 2-3 Marines. And I don't think that was quite worth it. At the same time, 4 workers have gone down over here against this 1 Raven that made its way across the map. Worker count is not looking all that great for SOS, but SOS already has a 3rd base, already has the infrastructure to go into a mid-game setup, basically. While INnoVation, well, let's face it, INnoVation is getting a 3rd CC, starting it at pretty much the 6-minute mark. Starts Stim at this point, starts a 2nd and a 3rd barracks. Doesn't even have an eBay yet. I mean, this is just a terrible, terrible situation for him. I don't quite understand how he's going to get out of this. It's a Raven. Oh, sorry, that's a medevac. Where's the Raven? Raven went over to the far right side. 4 Stalkers make their way across the map as we have a heavy focus here on probing for SOS. I wouldn't even mind a 4th Nexus in this case. I really do believe that the Robotics Bay is a mistake here. You scouted double Ravens out of your opponent. And another thing is that killing people with Colossi is actually pretty tricky if they're playing triple CC tank. So I think you'd rather go for a Templar Archives. If your plan is to kill your opponent, you can go for like a Storm Drop or just a pure Zealot Archon Immortal attack. Or if you want to play a longer game, I think you want a faster forward base and also you want quicker upgrades. So no matter what your follow-up plan is, I think there were better options here than kind of rushing into Colossi. I do not enjoy that. I do not like that very much. Perhaps SOS doesn't quite understand how far ahead he truly is, because, let's face it, he is very far ahead. But of course, it can be difficult to know that. On the other hand, he did deny his opponent's natural for like a minute and a half. That should mean something. That should tell you what your position is. Now we get the forward on the way after 4 more gateways. And I think that could have been built a lot faster. First Colossi is popping out. You have a lot of cash in the bank as well here for SOS. As this Prism with some... Was that Zealots or... Zealots without charge killed 7 SCVs. How's that even possible? INnoVation dropping the ball there for sure. It's completely blasted. Forge is finally about to finish off. It's like this Forge has been building forever. Okay, now we have Forge... What? Forge 2 and 3 on the way. I guess SOS also thought, well, that's taking forever. Let me just get all 3 Forges at the same time. Feels like he's trolling us at this point, because this is not a real build order, or at least not a build order that we've seen in recent times. You have gas 4 and 5 coming in. Oh, sorry, 5 and 6 coming in, and a Fort base. I think the order of all of this was kind of wrong. Like, I don't mind going for Colossi later on, but rushing them out this fast, getting that much infrastructure before getting the Forges, before getting the Fort base, I think was a mistake. Because right now you're just investing in the same things as your opponent is moving out. So the cost is the same, except you would have had them earlier. And I think you could have even been safer without the Colossus here. So I'm actually starting to become a little bit afraid for SOS, despite this early game being fabulous. Like, this is one of the early games, like a top... You know, like a top 10% early game. Like if you play like 100 games of PvT, then this is definitely like the top 10 games of early game. You know, if this is not a standard one, absolutely not. And INnoVation actually kind of getting into an okay position. I don't think that should have been the case here. This Zealot run by is dealing a fair amount of damage as these two bad boys start swiping on SCVs. That's Colossi could be in some trouble here. This is an interesting position because there's no real splash except for the Colossi, which means with Interference Matrix available, there's maybe a possibility to fight this. I think INnoVation agrees with that, goes for the double Interference Matrix, gets one Colossus, gets one Prism as well, and SOS is forced to move back for now. I think INnoVation can't continue here, but will send these mines in. We have triple upgrades coming in. I feel like every game for SOS is just a way to showcase that he can do something cool and win. You know, it's like, okay. Last game, the double gold Nexus. This game, the triple Forge. He truly is a creative soul. Love to see it. Though I don't think the shield upgrades in this matchup just aren't so good, because EMP negates the effect of the shield upgrades, right? It's just not as useful. Here comes the double drop heading in towards the main. Oh, do Stalkers will snipe that medevac. As this Raven goes in, we'll throw down 2 auto turrets right away. Nice little rotation here coming out of INnoVation. We'll get spotted by this Watchtower. We'll also get spotted by the Observer. So double spotted. If this was a game of Hitman, you would now be running away. 4 mines are going to burrow in here. That means that this base is toast. That means that INnoVation can move back. INnoVation, the king of the mid-game here, actually getting some pretty okay-ish trades. And this wasn't brilliant. Still gonna lose all of his medevacs and might need to deal with a counter-attack here, but I think he can deal with... Well, can he? He doesn't have the tanks anymore, of course. This is actually kind of scary all of a sudden. This is a 1-1-1 army and ghosts aren't out yet. Still only 5 Rex production as well. No Forge CC yet for Inno. It's now on the way. I still think that SOS is just in too good of a position here. It's almost impossible for him to lose this game. Raven's gonna make its way back home as well. Here we go. 2-2. Not finished yet for INnoVation. That could have been his saving grace. So we have those Colossi microing back and forth. We'll be targeting down some of these Marines, some of these Marauders. And the supplies. The supplies are very favorable for the Protoss here. INnoVation wants to wait for Ghost. INnoVation wants to wait for 2-2, but can he wait for those things? I think the answer is no. Prism now shows up as well. Do we have an ability to build Archons? Even if it was with DTs, I would love it. Just getting 2-3 Archons here, as long as there are no Ghosts. They're fantastic. 2-2 is about to finish up for INnoVation. He's gonna make a play for it, I think, with the 2-2. Maybe even wait for the 3 Ghosts as well, which are about to finish up. And this, if there's a timing that can do it, it might be this one. Doesn't wait for the Ghost. I think that might have been a mistake. Marauders tanking a lot of damage, but those Colossi are also firing the entire time. Look at the kills. 15, 11, and 8. That is some big damage. Raven gets targeted down. Now the Ghost comes in, but it's a little bit too late after the fight has happened already. EMPs are going to connect. The majority of this army for INnoVation right now is in medevacs, or is it? Stims forward, is going to take out a lot of these Stalkers, but we get one more big Zealot warp in, and this should be game right here. Don't forget, lots of cash in the bank for SOS, who's still on 4 bases as well. Has not continued his upgrades for whatever reason. but is destroying his opponent here. Look at that. Bang. Bang. Yeah, Inno for a second time in a row just not quite living up to it here. Not living up to the hype. It's going to falter once more. Good early game out of sOs though. This game was practically unlosable. He tried his best to lose it. Didn't quite manage to throw it away though. Inno types out the GG and game 2 goes to sOs as well. Here we go in game number 3. See what sOs has up his sleeve. Are there any more aces, or is he out of aces? How many aces can a man really fit up his sleeve? You sometimes have these experiments where they put, well, experiments. I'm not sure if you could really call it an experiment, like how many clowns fit in a car. Not quite sure if that meets the scientific standard of an experiment. I guess it does. But the SOS does a different one. It's like how many aces can he fit up his sleeve? He has wide sleeves, okay? He can fit a lot of aces up there, but can he pull 3 out in a row? That's the real question. Now people are starting to get suspicious, like, where do all these aces come from? And why do the cards, you know, the back of the cards look so different from the deck that we're playing with? What are these tricks, SOS? Are you sure this is legal? SOS says yes, this is legal. It's all okay. Oh, look at that. Low ground gateway here. Standard pylon timing. 124, 125, 126 it finishes. Yeah. Not great, not brilliant, but I think it's going to be good enough. Probe is just making the rounds in this base. Making sure nothing weird is going on. Nice little control here. That's just a good control, right? With that probe, get some damage on these SCVs. This SCV is now 1 adept shot away from dying. This SCV is now 1 adept shot away from dying. Actually, might be in a little bit of trouble here. So it needs to be refreshed. Like a fresh SCV comes in. It's like an adept sneeze might kill this one. And the collateral damage of the sneeze. Gotta be careful around sick adepts. Ooh, it's hiding the probe in here. It's one of these moves that if you do it against Hero Marine, you're always just gonna lose the probe. But against INnoVation, apparently it gets to stay alive. It's good to remember these types of things. Now, some players always scout for it, some players don't always scout for it. You can't consistently hide it there, but every now and again, I do like doing it as well. Anyway, what do we have up here? We have a Reaper making its way into the main base with the battery not quite done yet. Probe control is not brilliant, but it's good enough. Battery is actually not in range of the left side. Maybe there was an opportunity there potentially. High ground CC, as it was Reaper into Reactor, so this adept is going to do absolutely nothing. Might get a scout in. He sees the mine, but this is not the type of scout that you want to really go for. Oh! Good control out of INnoVation. Very nice. Gets the kill on that probe. And we'll move back with this mine immediately. Now, his wall is still being assaulted by this lone adept. It's not the dream scenario, but it's also not the worst thing. Like, what is this adept really gonna do? You know, most of the time they die against the mine. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oof. Nice. It's like attacking a castle by yourself, you know? Even if there's no one inside, you're still just hitting a wall with your fists. I'm not quite sure how much damage you're going to be capable of doing, even if you have like a bigger tool with you, like a hammer. I'm not quite sure how long it would take to break down the castle wall with a hammer. Also depends, of course, on the size of the wall and what it's made of. I bet you could do it. It takes a long time. Wouldn't it be better to just dig a tunnel into the castle? I always thought that would be a great strategy. I guess it takes a long time as well. Couple of months. And then you're inside of the castle. I bet that process of getting out of the, out of the hole that you just dug is also not so easy with your weaponry. Perhaps the Trojan horse really is the ultimate way to go. But after they used it once, it doesn't work anymore. Oh. 7 probes. This is a lot of damage. And this... No! SOS! No! Ooh, gets a lift. We'll keep all of his workers alive, except for the 7 that died. So it doesn't really keep all of his workers alive at all. Lost 7 workers would be the correct analysis there. We have a 3rd CC on the way after the Raven pops out as well. Raven against Phoenix Colossus is really rare. So... We're having a little bit of a unique game over here. Situation is fantastic though for INnoVation. He's playing a good build order against Phoenix Colossus. You know, the fast triple CC, I like that. Dealt a little bit of damage, well, quite a bit of damage with the mine drop as well. And now gets to sneak by with this Raven. I think he should wait until he has 2 auto turrets. Although, does he really want to... Does he even want to go into the main? I think the answer to that is no. Triple Adepts are shading forward right now. I almost feel like they could have stayed around with those 4 Phoenixes in here as well. Nah, there's too many Marines. There's also a Cyclone, so... Perhaps that dream is dead. INnoVation is aware, right, of the battery in there. Yeah, like, what are you going to do here, buddy? You know there's a battery there. You're not going to kill anything. You're just going to lose your Raven. Not a huge fan of this. Probably just wants to go into the natural right now. That's indeed what he's doing. 4 Phoenixes make their way back home. And we have a single Zealot being warped in. That's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. That's going to be 3. It's going to be 4. That's going to be 5. That's going to be a lot of workers. 13 workers going down total. Yeah. 5 here, 7 earlier. God, my math is sick. Stim as well as Combat Shield on the way, and Starport finishing up that reactor. Means we're going to be seeing a push out in the near-ish future. Fort gas finally being taken, but with that gas being so late, I don't think there's much on the ground right now in terms of units that bring anything to the table. No sentries, no stalkers. Tech is going to be difficult to get as well once that second Colossus starts. Phoenix count is extremely low. I think this situation looks really, really nice for INnoVation. And the moment he gets barracks 4 and 5 going as well, his infrastructure is going to be absolutely fabulous. And he could possibly even get a little bit further ahead in supply. It is actually quite rare to see Terran players at such high supply against Phoenix Colossus. Often Phoenix Colossus has higher supply, and the reason for that is very simple. Is if you're playing... Well, let's hold that thought while these Phoenix go in. Actually, these Phoenix are just going to kill some SCVs. It's not that important. So, if you're playing a Twilight Council Forge build, or like a Twilight Council Robo, right? You're investing a lot of money as a Protoss player into infrastructure. In order to properly build stuff from 2.5 bases, you need 8 gateways. Gonna need a fort. It's a lot of money into infrastructure that's not being being put into units. When you are playing Phoenix Colossus, all of your money is going into units. You only have, like, basically you have two buildings that produce units, and then you probably have 1 or 2 gateways as well. And then the rest is just going to go into probes, and probes inflate your supply very quickly. So often with Phoenix Colossus, you see a very high probe count and a lot of supply for the Protoss player. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're winning. It's just how it's supposed to be. So when you're seeing a Phoenix Colossus game in which the Protoss is not ahead in supply, or is down like 15, 16 supply, that usually is kind of a bad sign. And I think in this case, it's also quite a bad sign. Yeah, definitely. Next to Medevac's could be pretty detrimental here for SOS. Supply block for INnoVation. Probably wants to throw down a couple of these flying depots coming out of the sky. Does not quite have the energy available. Now he does. Okay, 1 depot did finish up over here. That helps. 1-1 has finished up as well for Inno, and its armory is on the way already. It means that 2-2 can start pretty quickly too. And here come the next 2 medevacs. Now, this is an issue because all of a sudden you can threaten 2 areas at the same time. And Colossi Phoenix Colossi, is really good at defending 1 place at the same time. Because Colossi are great with batteries and Phoenixes defend them well against Marauders. But if those are split, you just have very little units majority of the time. And especially if you're down in supply, it's going to be an issue. So now we have that infrastructure boost coming out of SOS. And I think this is the most vulnerable that SOS is going to be in the next 30 to 45 seconds. If INnoVation wants to do something, it needs to be now or later. Well, he still has a pretty big window, honestly. He can also hit a 2-2 timing, but I think he wants to start hitting soon. SOS is probably dreaming of a fort base at this point, yeah. But this is going to remain a dream for a little bit, you know? This is not realistic. This is absolutely not realistic. This is a very unrealistic dream. They're one of those dreams where you fly, everyone likes you, YouTube comments are nice, you know, that type of dream. Non-realistic dream. That's what we call those. Because this base is gonna get blasted here. Boom. Look at that. There go your dreams and ambitions. SOS. Cancel it. It's frustrating losing 100 minerals. If the cancel losing 100 minerals here with that pylon, I don't think he should try again immediately. I actually think that is an error. I think that is a significant error. And if you want to take a base, I think he should be taking the forward here. If you're playing Phoenix Colossus, this is too spread out. I just don't think he can hold it. I don't think he can hack it at all. You have what, 1 Colossi, 3 Zealots in the main. Good luck here, my friend. Oh, Observer does get to stay alive. Or, you know, he's gonna get spotted here. Don't think he's seeing that Observer, is he? No, nice position, by the way. Do like that a lot. We have some rotations coming in right now. Big EMP is going to connect with that Immortal, with the Colossus as well. Battery in the front gets overcharged as all of the forces are now trying to move to this area. Not so sure if INnoVation actually can push into this if his army isn't split. We have a lot of the Protoss army on the left side. Oh, here we go. Here we go. No super battery available, of course. EMP's also not available. And these Zealots will do an okay-ish job. Mines don't get to actually burrow here. And that means that this army is going to get pushed back. A fantastic hold here by sOs, who gets to stay alive. And more than just stay alive, actually puts himself in, I don't want to say a winning position, but a position where he seems to be ahead. Forward base gets up, which I don't think ever should have happened. Not yet. I think INnoVation had the chance to deal some real damage here. I think he failed. He definitely did fail. Now, we do have barracks 6 and 7 on the way. We have barracks 8 on the way here as well. So the production is going to be just fine. We have more Vikings coming in too. There's 4 Colossi out right now. And of course, those Phoenix is the tank for it. This is a weak army though for sOs. This is an army that pew 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 gets completely popped the moment the ghost EMP everything. Like 6 Archons, that's 24 supply of getting one shot by EMPs basically. So this is still quite dangerous. I'm not sure if the Viking count here is big enough. This is not a position that sOs wants to fight in at all though. It's going to lose a lot of those Archons before they even get up the ramp, and now it's going to be pure ghost marauder Viking against these Colossi. It felt like INnoVation was completely ready for this. 2-2 upgrades against what seemed to be 1-0 here. What was it? Oh, actually 2-1. Wow. Yeah, the Ghost against the Archons just too good. And the supply looked equal in the fight, but in those cases where there's so many Archons and there's this many Ghosts, the Archon is actually just dead supply. It does nothing for you whatsoever. And INnoVation wins his first little game over here in this best of 7. Oh, look at that. sOs once again with a very fast pylon and a very quick gateway as well. So 26 seconds from now. I'm so bad at quick math in my head, but it's a fast one, that's all I'm gonna say. This is a real quick one. Wow. What actually is it gonna be? 44? Is he finishing this at 112? No, wait, right? Yeah. This is faster than I think I've seen. Okay, it's gonna be 130. This is a really, really quick one. It isn't on the low ground. So this is the same build order that he did in, was it game number 2? On, I can't remember the map. What's the Blink game? Oh, that must have been Neo Humanity then. Yeah. Same build he did on Neo Humanity. Will cancel the Zealot. Started the Zealot, cancels it. I guess in case of an eBay block, right? He wants to get that Zealot. Oh, that's kind of smart. I like that. Oh, that's really cool. Nice. Nice build order. Good build order. High tier. Good job. Once again, I'm impressed by sOs. Starts his Adept here, 149. Means it's going to finish at 209. That's a beautiful timing for an Adept. You have that second cast, a Warp Gate on the way as well. Small cut here in the workers. Now, last time when he played this game, or this build, not this game. Last time when he played this build, I was very disappointed in his worker count. Let's see if he can make up for that this time around. If he can, you know, fix that. So I'm gonna keep a close eye here on that production tab, making sure that he builds workers the entire time. And if he doesn't, you know, you're gonna be upset with him. Send him a nasty email. Flame him on Twitter. Or on one of the other many social, Facebook. Make mean TikToks about him. Is that what happens right now in high school? There's like cyberbullying through TikToks. Is that even possible? Bullying usually is a bit of a more covert operation, isn't it? It's not out in the open. At least not cyberbullying usually. I'm not sure. Never been much of a bully myself. feel like TikTok is not the right platform. I think people would just cyberbully you back if you do bullying things there. Seems like the type of community that would really get you, you know? People 12-year-olds, they take you out. 12-year-olds can be vicious. Had some vicious attacks from 12-year-olds in my time. Don't want to think or talk about it anymore. All right, what's this? Quick Minds. This is absolutely nothing. Perhaps also, I should have mentioned, Ancient Cistern is a rather large map. So this is probably one of the worst maps to play this particular build on, which makes it interesting. Follow-up is the same. No, it's not. Because this is going to be a robotics facility here. So it's not the same at all. It's a very different build even. God, Kevin. It's completely different. Last time we saw 3 gate into a fast third base. This time we're seeing 1 gate blink into robo. With the robo actually starting before blink. So it's going to be a prism here, isn't it? Wait, what? What did I miss? Maybe he lost his adapt somehow. He might have finished the shade accidentally. Zzz. This is the laughing, by the way. So where the letter Z is on the Korean keyboard, I think is usually the K, the K. And when they laugh, they go k -k 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 instead of ha ha ha. To be fair, we don't really make the noise ha 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 when we laugh, do we? Yeah, it does sound a little bit like ha ha ha. I think there's an M in there as well. It's very hard to genuinely laugh when nothing funny is happening. Oh, Prism is on the way. I kind of wanted him to up one of these mines a little bit faster. Still gets a sweet escape over here. Up into the corner you go, my friend. Can't believe there used to be a punishment back in the day. You go stand in the corner. Such a stupid punishment. That is absolutely nothing for you. Facing into the corner as well. On one leg. It's not pleasant, but it's just a stupid punishment, isn't it? What does that even achieve? Standing in the corner on one leg. Surely there's better punishment that actually teach a kid something. Then again, I'm not a teacher. What would I know about punishment? Fair play. Stay in your lane, Kevin. Oh, here we go. Big blink in. Interesting one. Interesting blink. Blinks away from the tank. If he blinks in, he's actually wild in the head. I would not recommend that. Look how tight this is. Look how tight the margin is. He's spotting here with that prism. Gets another 4 stalker warp in here. I think 3 stalkers. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, can one-shot a tank right now if he blinks forward. Is he gonna do it? We're not gonna take it. No, it's not gonna go in. Ba-da. Da-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na. 4 stalker aggression over here. Same time we have ooh, bunch of stalkers here blinking in towards the natural. We'll take out the tank, loses no stalkers. That is a perfect trade right there. No stalkers for a tank. That's a trade I take any day. That sounds like one of these trades you can make in like a a role-playing game when you're selling your stuff to an NPC, you know? So, these trades always seem relatively unfair to me. You can just force your stuff onto them. And I was like, here is it. 3,000 pigeons. It's like, no, I don't want more pigeon feathers. Like, oh, here you go. Pay the money to me, chief. It's like, no. I'm gonna go back pigeon hunting for 5 XP per pigeon. Selling you the feathers for 8 coins. No supply and demand in a lot of these RPGs. Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. Who's using all these pigeon feathers? Were there pigeons back in the day? I guess so, right? They seem like a weak animal, though. The only reason the pigeon survives, I think, is because humans have taken out most of its predators around. I feel like the pigeon is a bit of an idiot. I've seen them walking. They don't look very bright. But it might just be because they don't look so bright. What's also wild to think is that people that haven't seen a pigeon might think that it's like a very rare bird. Because it looks quite interesting, you know? But because they're so common, people don't have an interest in them anymore. That also makes no sense. People like rare animals, you know, and then when they see them too much, they don't like them anymore. When I was in Thailand, I had this with monkeys a little bit, you know? First time I saw a monkey, I was really excited. I was like, man, that's crazy. I'm a freaking monkey walking around. And after all, you kind of get used to the monkeys just being there. And they become more like they're just cats, you know? Like highly intelligent cats. Because let's face it, cats aren't the brightest. Interesting expansion pattern. That also doesn't look the brightest. The expansion pattern of a cat over here. What it is. I much prefer this base. Gives you easy choke access. Like you have defensive, very, very strong chokes. Now you're giving up a lot of map control on the bottom side. Make it difficult to kind of spot these areas. So if you're playing against a split Terran, a Terran with 2 control groups, which INnoVation doesn't seem to be one of those, this isn't so great, I think, most of the time. It's a lot of Ghost in production. I think Ghosts are good against this low gas style often. I think going for like a Viking Ghost count, like a high Viking count, and a good Ghost count is really, really good if you're playing against kind of no disruptor styles in general. I think it's great. It's absolutely fantastic. INnoVation with a late 4CC once more. Does not have 2-2 on the way yet. Does he even have an armory yet? Does not have any Vikings either, so I'm not quite sure what his plan is. Maybe his plan is just to sit back and let sOs kill himself into him. That actually doesn't sound like a terrible plan. Sometimes there are players that you know will attack. So even when you're like semi all-inning, it's best to just sit back and wait for them to attack. Like one of these hacks. Once you know it, you should never tell these people that. Like if you find one of these guys on the ladder, I know there's a couple of pro gamers like that. You know, they'll always attack into you, no matter what happens. You got to cherish that and make sure to never tell them. Because the moment you tell them, you know, that party is over. They start thinking about it next time they're playing against you. But maybe then you're inside of their brain. It's also good. I don't quite understand what the INnoVation is doing here. His army is not getting better, really. His Viking count is so little. He built a lot of medevacs and didn't use his medevacs. He might be capable of winning a fight here, because honestly, the army that sOs is fighting with also looks pretty garbage. But I'm not so sure. Okay, here we go. EMP is going to connect here. This is just not possible, right? There's so many mines in this army. You saw half of the Marauder count is in the main base trying to chase these zealots. I think sOs just won the game here. I mean, 13, 14 workers go down. Zealots absolutely everywhere. Taking out more and more SCVs. Prism does go down into the main base. But the Colossi really doing a number on the rest of Inno's army. I don't understand what in the world INnoVation was doing. He wasn't getting to 2. Very high medevac count. Didn't use his medevac count. Super late Vikings. Kind of a late forward base. It felt like he wanted to push with like a 1-1 ghost timing. But then he forgot to move out across the map. Types out GG. And sOs wins game number 4 here. Puts himself on match point in this best of 7. Here we are on Babylon. Ladder edition, by the way. No other editions. Only ladder editions up in this place, my friend. Ladder edition exclusively. The factory goes down. Double gas opener for INnoVation. We have a Corby for Nexus out of SOS. La Cucaracha. Some nice build orders. Some interesting plays. I wonder how he's going to be faring against slightly better Terrans. I can see that both the players, you know, they're good, and a lot of their instincts feel correct. Their build orders, especially INnoVations, I think are very, very close to the current meta. But how should I say this? I do feel like a lot of the decisions and kind of the mid-game transitions are a bit out there, out of both players. Like the very low gas style out of sOs seems like it carries considerable risk, and the way INnoVation plays in the mid game is a bit of an enigma to me. I just don't quite understand it. It could be due to my lack of understanding, but it could also be because his play doesn't quite make as much sense as some of the other higher level Terrans. There's a mine burrowed over here. Does sOs really see that? I don't think he does. It's difficult to see often. It's actually dealing significant amounts of damage here, and this is one of the reasons why we often see a high ground CC when you're playing single Reaper into Reactor. Because otherwise this type of stuff could really mess with you. Whoop! Very far away, took down that SCV kill. Nice play. Significant delay. That means that the next depot hasn't been built here. Oi, 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 oi. Look at this supply block. That is a full-on 18-second supply block here. Maybe even 19 seconds. I think this depot started like 2 seconds before the supply block. And it takes 21 seconds to build a depot. So, yeah, very nice. Robotics facility on the way. So we're seeing Phoenix Colossus coming out of SOS. I think that's been the one game that he's lost was with Phoenix Colossi, right? Yeah, that was definitely the case. Oh, takes out this Reaper. And do you actually want to lift that with these Phoenixes? No, because there's another Adept out. Triple Adept, third gas, Robo, fourth gas on the way as well. Do you want to scout anything with these Phoenixes? I think you do. But so far SOS is not doing anything of the sort. Nothing of the sort. He's just sitting back at home defending. Making sure he's having a good time. Ooh, for a second I thought it was a second Stargate. I was like, oh, that's spicy. But it's just a second gateway. Playing it safe, making sure he won't die. Observer on the way. Wants to throw down that robotics bay as fast as he can as well. So a delayed third base. Well, we have a third base already coming out here for INnoVation. I like this opener quite a bit. Mines haven't moved across the map, despite there being 3 mines out, as well as a medevac. Where are they? Interesting position here. This one is the most interesting to me, because you know your opponent is playing Phoenix. And one of the characteristics of the Phoenix is that it doesn't get one-shot by the mine. So it is just kind of odd. Also, it's on the observer path. So if an observer does get sent across the map, which of course was a possibility. INnoVation knows it was a possibility because he saw this robotics facility here. It means that it could spot it. Observer's actually taking a kind of an alternative route here. No, it's not going to take an alternative route. It goes for the real route. We'll see this mine, picks it up most likely. Take a look at the first person here out of INnoVation. And wait, what? That didn't shoot right now, did it? Of course not. For a second I thought that mine still got to shoot. I think Inno should be aware of this observer right now though. He knows that an observer is around somewhere. So you're going to be looking for that most likely. Oh, one mine up here could still be lifted. Yep, there we go. 3 SCVs and 2 mines have gone down total against this 5 Phoenix harass. 6 Phoenix will show up soon. We have no more on the way. 85 supply against 60 INnoVation in a world of trouble with this opener. Third base finishing up already here for SOS. We'll start mining from it. And yes, the moment those 5 barracks will finish up, we're going to see a big boost in the supply here for Inno. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be enough. These Phoenixes putting in quite a bit of damage here. One Phoenix in trouble. But we'll get to push these Cyclones away. These gnarly Cyclones. Could even go for a lift there. I think one Phoenix is dead. No? Yes. No. Wow. Phoenix stays alive. Nice control there out of SOS. SOS in a near impossible to lose position, honestly. Don't quite see how he would go about losing this game. Because we have that third CC moving, you know, over here already. That's nice for INnoVation, but he's just down 10 workers. He's down a significant... What do we have here? 4 gases. Full saturation on 3 bases. And you can take a 4th base at this point. Can absolutely take a 4th base at this point. We have Marauders going down. We have SCVs falling. That's going to be like a 4, 5, 6, 7 SCVs. And there's nothing here to stop him. 7 SCVs go down. Wow, wow, wow. So we have this one Marine coming forward. I think it's going to be a single timing here. That's it. That's all that INnoVation has right now. He can go, but he needs to go once. And that will be it. Upgrades are looking good for Inno. Finally with a faster armory as well. That looks very, very nice. Scans for a 4th base, but he doesn't need to scan for a 4th base. He needs to do something. He's down. He's down a significant amount. A very, very significant amount. 7 Phoenixes total. Combat Shield finally finishing up as well. I'm not a huge fan of how INnoVation plays. Both, you know, as a kind of competitive, from a competitive aspect, but as well as a viewing, the spectator perspective. It just doesn't play super interesting StarCraft, or at least not so far. In kind of slow games, poor defensive play, often. This feels like poor defensive play. So for a scan here, doesn't see anything. Isn't really looking for observers, but more blindly scanning. And here comes a fight. It is 1-1 upgrades against 0-0. Mine's actually going to connect. Oh, wow. Sentry's in a bit of trouble. And SOS does need to be careful, of course. Because this is still an army that can fight. 2-2 is on the way, but so is the 4th base. SOS is absolutely destroying his opponent here. There's no vision, though, on this left side. And the Phoenixes make their way across the map. I think this could trigger a drop here out of INnoVation. The moment he sees these Phoenixes, he could go like, hey, mate. What's up, buddy? I want to go into your main base. Scans here. Is he going to go for a drop? Sees the Phoenix in the main as well. Yep, goes for a drop here. This could be detrimental. There's no recall in the main. Archons get morphed. 5, 4... How many zealots were that? 4 or 5 zealots get warped in. Archons, of course, a little bit better after the patch in the defense of these types of drops. So most likely is going to stay alive. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Medivacs in a world of trouble here. 2 Medivacs will go down as Phoenixes could get caught here by this Cyclone Marine Force. Or maybe it's the Medivac that's going to get caught here by the Phoenix Force. There we go. Medivac goes down. Marines will fall as well. And I think that INnoVation is in a terrible spot. No 4th base yet. The only thing that SOS is lacking right now is vision on the top side of the map. Could potentially lose this 4th, but I don't really see it happening either. So yeah, I think Inno is dead. Scans forward, sees nothing here yet. SOS a little bit slow in the respawns there. It has a battery, has a cannon, and this is going to buy enough time, I think, for the main army to arrive. Like, unless SOS really messes up this defense, I don't see how he could lose this. There's no ghost in the army yet, so the Archons are going to be absolutely fantastic. Inno did get a lot of kills here, and there's no observer to clean this mines. SOS is actually going for an all-out attack here, and he's going to be fighting with inferior upgrades. Ghosts are on the way out. If 3-4 ghosts hit the field, and every EMP blankets this army, that could be bad, actually. That could really be bad. Look at this setup as well here from the back. This is a nice little setup. Does not quite end up working out, but at the same time, INnoVation moves towards the right side. 2-2 upgrades have finished. 4th base is on the way. Mine does get blasted as well over here. There's still some mines in position to kind of give some safety from the back. This base is gonna die. Main base is under fire. What is SOS doing? He's just walking in between his own 4th and his opponent's 3rd base. Very indecisive play here out of the South Korean toss. Recalls half of his army back home right now, but he's losing a lot of gates. He lost his 4th base. He's going to lose his 3rd base as well. We have INnoVation moving in towards his own natural. Mines will definitely help out against those zealots. There's a bunch of ghosts on the high ground as well. No observer inside. That means that both of these are going to get their shots up. 2 more mines will set up. The ghost count is enough, I think, here. We still have these Marines fighting the Phoenixes. 165 supply against 130. INnoVation, I think, might actually be doing it. We have 2.1k in the bank when it comes to minerals and 1.4k in the bank when it comes to gas. But there's no more bases. The production is still alive. Why are we not warping in? There we go. I think INnoVation has accidentally won this game. Not sure if he still thought he was in the game, but he definitely tried his best. And yeah, honestly, this was making turning water into wine. That wasn't even good water. Yeah, it's the nasty, muddy water. That's what it was. Someone pooped in it already. And INnoVation said, I think I can do something with that poopy water. I'll turn it into wine. Now, I'm not sure what he does with the wine then. Does he drink it or does he sell it? I think Inno is a great salesman. I'm not aware, actually. I don't speak Korean. He might be a brilliant salesman. Yeah, this game is completely over. SOS staying in, 77 supply against 147. 2-2 upgrades against 2-1. But the work count, of course, is the main issue here. The fact that the Terran bases can fly as well is pretty darn big. Because that means that this 4th base is going to be saturated with the main soon, and this natural, if it ever mines out, can fly towards a 5th. So this game is completely over at this point. We do have 6 more Templar coming in. There's, of course, a lot of gas in the bank, but is there any ghosts? There's still 2 ghosts out, and more ghosts could be produced in the future. Archons are not that big of an issue anymore, or should not be that big of an issue anymore. 3rd base is being retaken now for SOS. DT being sent out across the map. We have turrets in at least 1 base, 2 bases. So, oh, actually 3 bases. So every base has a turret. And in that case, that DT should not be capable of doing anything. DT's also got spotted. So right now, mentally, INnoVation is prepared, that the T was not prepared at all for INnoVation's army. And this game is over. Waiting for SOS to also realize that. And we're also waiting for INnoVation to spend some of this cash that he's starting to float. That's a lot of cash. Doesn't quite have the gas yet. Needs to saturate this base here rapidly. Fourth base on the way. Can we get a scan? Can we get a scan? No. There goes your CC, mate. 3-2 is on the way for SOS, who's now moving out. No sentry though, so no guardian shield either. Ghost actually not available in this army. They're on the left side. We'll have maybe 2 EMPs per ghost. Yep, there we go. And this feels really, really good right now for Inno. If he loses this game, I'll eat a shoe. I don't think I'm going to be eating any footwear soon. Yeah, there we go. Good fight out of Inno. Nice concave as well. Gets the kill here on the colossi. Gets the Archons down. GG gets called as INnoVation lives to fight another game at least. Altitude for game number 6. One of the favorite maps for your average Protoss player. Now, the problem for SOS is that he's not your average Protoss player. If he was an average Protoss player, this would be a free win. But with him, I'm not sure. It does open up rather standard though, as we have a normally timed gateway, and thus most likely a normally timed cybernetic score. Single gas coming out of INnoVation here. So no tricks there either. Marine first. Okay. I think the one time we have seen Marine first before, it was Marine first into factory. He got his natural command center delayed for about 5 minutes. It's not quite what we'd classify as the ideal game, so he doesn't have the greatest memory of that. But I still think it's going to be just fine here. It's going to be Marine into Reactor actually, so it's a slightly different build order. Delayed factory, lots of Marines early on. So we'll have a... doesn't seem like a Stargate to me, no. Most likely going to be that either a triple adept or a double adept opener. Coming out of SOS, which seems to be one of his favorite starts. And I can't blame the guy. It's fun to play double or triple adept as an opener. It's good, it's fine, does the trick often. It really does. And it also denies your opponent some info. Ooh, what? Okay. I was gonna say it denies your opponent some information often. This is one of the things people don't think about, but... Oh, wow. Gate. Huh. Full gas mining still? It's kind of a new build here. I'm not super familiar with. Max Packs play something slightly similar. I think usually follows it up with Twilight. What I was gonna say was... right, if you open 2 adepts every single game, it's difficult for Terrans to figure out whether you're playing Stargate or Twilight. But if you play Adept Stalker every time you play Twilight, and Adept every time you play Stargate, then they don't even have to scout the structure, and just seeing your units is good enough. So this is something Protoss players always need to keep in mind, that you don't telegraph too much information. You don't reveal too much accidentally without your opponent having to put in any real effort. It's really, really important in StarCraft 2 to do that. You always want information to cost something. So it either needs to cost a scouting unit or effort or a scan or an SCV. Never give information away for free. It's one of the most valuable resources in StarCraft 2. 6 adept make their way across the map. And the Marine count is at a solid, what is this, 8? 9? 9 Marines right now. We have a medevac coming out. A single, no, double mine. And, oh, a Raven follow-up here. Look at that. That is just beautiful. Gonna get that Raven out ASAP. Uh-oh, that is 6 adepts, though, that pump in here. And they're dealing a lot of damage at the very start of this fight already. No bunker available. That means that these 6 adepts are going to have, well, the time of their lives. They never felt like this before. They swear. It's the truth. 3 Stalkers also popping in here. Well, every single Marine basically has been taken out. That means also every single SCV here on the low ground is going to fall. 9 workers go down. Mine drop is not going to get the big connections on the other side of the map. First mine at least didn't. Second mine, some potential here, some real potential here, but Just because you have potential doesn't mean that you will fulfill that potential, and it's going to remain at just a mere 2 workers. Blink more than halfway done at this point, as this bad boy is about to siege up, take out 1 stalker for free, and pretty much securing his own low ground once more. INnoVation losing the depot there, getting supply blocked in a position where I don't think he can actually come back into the game. 40 workers to 26, no second barracks. No, actually, second barracks has finished. Third barracks hasn't finished up yet. So, yeah, not really feeling this. This is not good, all right? This is the opposite of good. This is bad. This is real bad. Oh, I don't like this at all here. I do not like this at all for INnoVation. He has no ability to put on pressure on the other side of the map. Yes, he has 2 ravens. That is something, but Blink is done. The stalker count is extremely high. There's just no, there's 2 tanks, not a single tank. 2 tanks actually is going to keep him alive. If there was just a single tank, he might have actually died with the next Blink in. And the funny thing is that SOS is already transitioning out of this. He's getting the extra gateways. That's the sign of the times, you know. It's like a transition time. And we ain't staying in this phase forever. He can still... Oh, he's actually gonna go in and snipe 1 tank, take out a couple more SCVs, cleared basically every marine as well. I'm sorry I missed that. I didn't think he was gonna blink in because he was already on that, you know, on a path to the transitional path. This game is extremely over. We have freaking Robo-Bay on the way. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of building a Robo-Bay against double Raven, but I also just don't think it is going to matter at all over here. We have that low gas count once more. This really an SOS exclusive style, it feels like. Is he gonna blink in here or just blink out and try to deal some more damage against these marines? Seems to be the case. Loses 1 more stalker as he takes out that medevac, but look at the worker count here, 57 to 33. We have a battery now being thrown down, but honestly, I'm not quite sure what he's afraid of. There's right now more stalkers out on the map than there are marines. There's 2 tanks, 2 ravens, 7 marines, and that's it. No combat shield. Stim about to finish up. No upgrades. We have thermal lance on the way. We're just waiting for charge to start, really. And once charge finishes, this game ends. The moment charge finishes, the game is over. Because there's nothing in this army that can deal with 8 to 12 zealots with charge. It's simply not possible. There's defensively nothing. It doesn't exist. So we have these gateways finishing up right now. I don't mind the lack of a forge in this case. I think it's good because you probably just want to go for a kill. I still think that the Colossi transition is weird. I much rather would have seen 2 Archons. What is 1 Colossi with thermal lance going to do? I think that SOS realized as well, and that's why he's like, okay, you know what? I'm getting my charge. I'm going to chrono it. I'm going to get a quick prism with it too, and I'm just going to kill my opponent. Because it's just a waste of time, you know? And it gives your opponent the potential ability to get back into the game. Like, the longer the game gets, the less important the early game becomes, right? And there's ways to kind of mitigate that. On the other hand, it's just a 3rd gate, the 3rd barracks on the way right now for INnoVation. He's like, oh, 3rd barracks, that's great. He isn't even thinking of a 3rd CC yet. You know, it's not even in his mind yet. It's getting that eBay. Right now, I think SOS is more likely to take a 5th and a 4th base than INnoVation is taking a 3rd. I really believe that. Because there's just no way in which he gets a 3rd base. It's not possible. And I can see a world in which SOS double expands at this point. I don't think it would be good, but it is more likely than a 3rd CC. Yeah, we see the SCVs being pulled right now, but I mean, the pure Stalker moving, like the Stalker harass here, is almost enough to kill the entire army, and that pretty much tells the tale. We have 1 Colossi, 2 Colossi, 18 Zealots. We have Guardian Shield, no upgrades, and 1 Archon is going to be absolutely fantastic here in this comp. We have double Interference Matrix, triple Interference Matrixes available, not anymore, says the High Templar as they feed back the Ravens. This game is absolutely over, and that's also the end of this series over here. GG gets called, and SOS in, you know, with the comeback series, or at least for me, I'm not sure if this is the first tournament games that he has played, but very cool to see. Solid, lots of nice little early game tricks here, aggressive as we know him, that cool double gold base in the first game as well. So yeah, SOS is back Inno not quite looking as solid as he used to be. Used to be kind of a mid-game monster, but now struggled getting out of the early game alive. And looking for what these guys can bring us in the future, of course. Both of them fantastic players in their own right. And it would not surprise me if both of them get back to the very tip-top of the StarCraft 2 scene. That is going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to like button, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye-bye.